Hello and welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. It's finished at the Emirates, Arsenal 2, Newcastle United 0. It's another defeat.
I wish it was 2-0. I think you'll find it was 3.
Oh, been waiting that long to get on. It's finished 3-0.
Yeah,
my dad's in the background just gone. No, is it not 3? Right, we'll start again. Hello, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. It's finished 3-0 to Arsenal at the Emirates on a really poor night for Steve Bruce's side. It's scoring the players' time. I'm here with Sam Milner and I'm here with Liam Kerr. I think it's time to dust ourselves down. Get your comments get your scores in the comments as well.
I see what you did there.
Thank you very much. And, let's see if you agree with what the lads put for tonight's performance. Right, Liam, I'll let you start with Carl Darlow. Made a couple of good saves. We were just talking off air, particularly in the second half. Like I said, 2 good chances, especially the one that was a really low shot. I thought Darlow made an excellent save there. But Liam, could he do better with the first goal?
If I'm being honest, I can't really remember the first goal. I think I'll give him a 5. I think he can't do much with what he's got in front of him. He's got like 10 melons, realistically, trying to keep the ball away from him. And it just doesn't work. Like the pundits go on that Steve Bruce is a defensive manager and he defends all the time, but clearly doesn't. Do you know what I mean? He clearly can't defend, and then he's came out saying, "Oh, we'll do it my way," and it still went tits up. So 5 for me because I don't think he could do much. Yeah, he can't do much all season. I think Darlow's been the player, like the outstanding player this season, and he would probably get my player this season. Already.
Sam, you're not critical with him with the first goal?
Possibly. We were talking off air, weren't we? I thought maybe he should have stood up and done a bit better. At the end of the day, he's been beaten at his near post, and he's gone to ground. But you think he might have slipped over? I haven't seen it back, so I don't know. But on first viewing, I thought possibly he could have done better, but I'm not criticising him one bit because he's been absolutely immense this season, and there was a lot more wrong with Newcastle United than Carl Darlow, that's for sure.
100%, and where would we be without Carl Darlow was another question in itself. Sam, I'll let you continue with Jamal Lewis, back from injury, back in at left back in a 4. Cedric caused them problems, I thought, down the right-hand side for Arsenal. I thought he was poor going forward, didn't offer anything going forward, which you can say about every Newcastle player, has to be said. But was it the right game for him, Sam?
Yes, it should have been, because he should have been attacking. But, I mean, he didn't play well by any stretch of the imagination, but I did feel sorry for him because Joelinton, as we'll come on to ahead of him, was just... Well, we know he's not a striker and we know he's not a left midfielder now, put it that way. So, Lewis, everything was going down our left-hand side. Everything. Saka, cracking little player, absolutely superb. Newcastle fan as well. I'm torn between a 3 and a 4, and I'm going to give him a pity vote and go 4. It's just poor. Everything came down from that side, but he wasn't helped in any way by Joelinton. I don't think he obviously likes to play in a more advanced role on the left-hand side like he would do if we played 4-2-3-1. Doesn't really suit Joelinton.
Yeah, I thought that was me that was off there, but I'm guessing that was Sam's a little bit behind there. Was that right?
Yeah.
No. I'm fine. Yes.
Heart and mouth moving for me there.
We can't be on the net. We live in the same postcode.
I know. Kieran Clark for me. I think he's at fault for the 3rd goal. Doesn't clear it well and straight into the path of Cedric, who obviously does really well for Arsenal. Keeps the ball just about in play and puts it on a plate for Aubameyang. But similar to Darlow, Kieran Clark's probably been one of our better players for the last few games, and he was one of 3 players that kept his place in the starting 11 after that shambolic performance against Sheffield United. not going to judge him too harshly, but was he better than Jamal Lewis? See, I think you've been a bit kind to Jamal Lewis there, Sam. So I'm gonna have to go 4 out of 10. I don't think Jamal Lewis is that good. Kieran Clark, look, he's a steady Eddie. The games against Arsenal, you're not going to judge him really. If we're being honest, you've got to judge him against teams that are probably around us, and can he deal with their centre forwards? An ideal one would probably be Aston Villa. I think maybe on Saturday, with Ollie Watkins. We'll see how he gets on against him, but yeah, I think he's at fault for the 3rd goal for sure. Jamal Lascelles, Liam, made his first start in the Premier League from injury. So he started the FA Cup game against Arsenal. And the 2nd goal, Emile Smith-Rowe turns him inside and out, basically, and puts it on a plate for Saka. That's the last thing you want, isn't it? Is someone running towards Lascelles like an Emile Smith-Rowe, who is in so much form and so much confidence. What did you make of the captain's performance tonight, mate?
Poor. I think it was the wrong game to bring him back. Because where was Shaw and Fernandez today? On the bench?
No, they weren't even on the bench. And what I said in the watch along, because Gale wasn't on the bench either, was he? Now, what do Cher, Fernandez, and Gale all have in common?
The shit.
Got 6 months left on the contract.
They've got 6 months left on the contract, Liam.
What did Liam say?
The shit. Yeah, so there might be something in that. There might be something in that.
Yeah.
He's got 6 months left on his contract.
I think with Lascelles, he was probably rushed back in, which Steve Bruce loves to do. Obviously, if you look at Fernandez and I think it was someone else as well. I think it was Hayden. But I even put in the WhatsApp group, I was surprised that ESM didn't get a start because it was just something Bruce would do just to. But I think with Lascelles, you've got to give him a 3. The back line was just terrible today.
It was. I completely agree.
I thought Lascelles was really good in the first half, but I thought he was really bad in the second half.
I don't think he was that good in the first half.
Certainly, yeah.
I was going to give him a 7 in the first half, but then obviously
giving him a 1 in the second half.
Yeah, just to average it out.
Yeah, look, you said, Liam, when is the right time for Jamal Lascelles to play a match? Because look, Steve Bruce needed to make changes for the game, and he's gone. Well, let's put the captain back in. He was okay against Arsenal in the first 45.
But I think that team, that team he put out against Sheffield Wednesday could have been a good team if we didn't sit 5 at the back.
Sheffield United, just in case any Sheffield United fans are watching, they'll absolutely crucify you. They say Sheffield Wednesday. It's like saying Sunderland to us.
Same thing, isn't it?
I'll leave that one for the Sheffield
Moving
United
on.
to say. Moving on very quickly. Sam, you said not long ago that Emile Kraft is the best right back in a back 4 at Newcastle. Can you explain that? How he is, and after that performance tonight?
Oh, I wondered why you were going to give me Kraft. Defensively, he was fine, but
Was he?
You can't be like that. On brackets general. First, but as in, if you were going to play a system where your right back acts like a centre back, but on the right hand side of the pitch, then Kraft's your guy. But you can't be like that anymore. You need wing backs are supposed to get forward and help out the attacks. He just can't do it, and when he does, he's so slow getting back. We need this right back situation's been going on for years.
Who was the last good right back?
Debussy.
Janmat.
Yeah, man was good going forward, but defensively wasn't brilliant. But
wasn't that Danny Smith?
Danny
Couldn't
Simpson.
go forward, but he was decent. Danny Smith, Simpson, yeah.
My problem is, Sam, right? We spoke about Emile Kraft before, and I'm not disagreeing with you in the sense that he was poor today. But do you not think he's at fault for the second goal? If you look at that cross, if that cross goes anywhere bar Leno's hands, Newcastle maybe have a chance of having a chance. I'm not going to say they're going to score because they didn't look like scoring all night. But it's taken literally a goalkeeper to roll the ball out, him half jogging, and Aubameyang, I think plays the ball to Smith-Rowe, and he's taken on the cells, and then it's 2-0 because Saka puts it away. That comes from that cross. When Newcastle have got a few men going forward, You need to be putting in a good cross. We don't get many chances like that. And we're in a situation now that we're considering Emil Kraft could be our starter against Aston Villa because he wasn't as bad as Yedlin, or he wasn't as bad as when Mankiel last played, or he wasn't as bad as Jacob Murphy, who played in the 4 at the back. We are struggling so bad in that position.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Yeah, and it's been going on for years and it's still not been addressed properly. So what do you expect? It's embarrassing. We've got 3 right backs at the club and they're all pretty shite. So what? It's embarrassing. It's all like, why can't we get a right back that can just cross? Like even, a quarter of the time. I mean, I know we can't celebrate a goal. We can barely celebrate a shot on target at the minute. I'd celebrate a cross beating the first man, the way things are going.
Oh, well, we've still got that to come on the score and the players, by the way, and I'm sure you can all know who that we're talking about there.
I'd just absolutely love a cross to come in that would beat the first man. But, yeah, poor, and that's the way to beat us, is going out wide. We've said it for weeks.
I'm going to put it out there before we move on to the midfield, is that I love Isaac Hayden playing in the centre midfield for Newcastle. But at this point, I would sacrifice him and put him at right back because he's probably the best right back we've got at the club. I hate saying that. And there might be comments that will say we'll disagree with that. But we've got more midfielders that can do on a good day, half a decent job. Isaac Hayden.
Is he not the best centre-back as well?
Probably.
Is he not the best centre-back as well?
Didn't even start tonight, but again, we might discuss that later with Steve Bruce. Moving into the midfield for me, Mickey Almiron.
Say it.
He ran a lot. Look, for me, Mickey tried his heart out, and when we compare him to the other winger, which we will do very, very shortly, it was chalk and cheese. My problem with Mickey Almiron at times is his decision. I'll say it again. His decision making, especially when you look at maybe playing Wilson in, or can we release the ball a little bit earlier. But he was the only one for Newcastle today that had a bit of imagination, a bit of creativity when he had the ball going forward, taking men on. I felt sorry for him at times, but we all know that's not his position, and he's asking to be played out of position to do something for the team. Is he an out-and-out winger? No. Will he ever be an out-and-out winger? Probably not. Not for Newcastle in the Premier League. Maybe if he's with better players, he might be all right. But I'm gonna give him a 5.5. I thought he was all right today.
I thought he was very good. Not very good, but I thought he's.
But Liam, you've criticised him before. Like, the reason why he's not getting higher marks is didn't really create anything. These decision making in that final third.
The strikers have to come so deep to get involved. Then when he's there, they can't get up there quick enough to support him. It doesn't, and when he does get the ball out on the right hand side, he's got to arc his run because he needs to get back on his left foot because he's out of position, and it's just pathetic. But he worked his bollocks off. He was our best player, so I agree with that rating. He was our best player tonight. Yeah. But again, there's just nothing going forward, is there? Let's face it.
No, but he did have a shot, which I'm going to put out there, which is more than what we had all night. Let's be honest. He had a shot which was probably the closest we got to all night, if we're being honest, in the first half, which went over the crossbar. But Leonard didn't have to do anything today. Any of us three could have gone and go for Arsenal today, and we would have done absolutely fine. But yeah, 5.5, 6 out of 10. Yeah, probably about right today. Matty Longstaff for you, Liam. Came in out of the wilderness, really, because he played all right against Leicester, and then we didn't see him again. What did you make of his performance this evening?
Poor. He looked so out of depth. I think he just got made look like a 19-year-old playing against men, really. I think he just was so behind all the time. I think, was it the third goal where he didn't track his man? And it's just I don't think Shelvey helped the situation. So I'm going to give him a 2. I don't really want to, but there's nothing else you can give him because I think he was bad. He did nothing really. Probably had less than 10, 15 touches on the ball.
Was he that bad, Sam?
Two maybe a touch harsh, but they were outnumbered in that midfield, and they had the extra man in there, Party, Xhaka, and Smith Rose. Obviously, got the world at his feet very soon, so it was always going to be an uphill task for him. But it wasn't their finest hour by any stretch of the imagination.
Is this his poorest game in a Newcastle shirt?
Off the top of my head, yeah, probably.
That's saying a lot because when you look at the fact that Matty Longstaff, every time he's played for Newcastle, he hasn't really let us down. I don't think, like I say, maybe two's a little bit harsh, and I probably agree with Sam.
He played 10 games though in total, probably.
I probably would have given him maybe a 4 or 5 in my personal opinion, maybe 4.5, something like that. But for me, Matty does the simple things, and he's a more out and out central midfielder than say his brother. And I just think he has like I say, I think he could have done with an Isaac Hayden today, and we'll touch about Shelvey in a second. But I think he has Isaac Hayden in that midfield. I think it does help him. But it probably just wasn't the game for him today, let's be honest.
It was a bizarre time to pick him. Very bizarre.
Yeah, possibly so. But we've got Villa at the weekend. Will he keep his place? I doubt it after that performance, if I'm being honest. But a man who I'll be very surprised if he keeps his place is John Joe Shelvey after that performance today, Sam. His corners were atrocious. We had a couple of corners today, and his second corner led to, unfortunately, Newcastle conceding the first goal of the evening. 2 big opportunities. Get the ball in. We've got Carroll up. We've got, who else is there? Kieran Clark.
We're talking
when you've got your big players
Clark,
up, Lascelles, with the ball.
Clark, Lascelles, Joelinton, Carroll, Wilson's good in the air. I couldn't beat the first man at any point. It's inexcusable, really. I mean, we'll let you have one. That's no one's perfect, but to consistently not get a cross in at any point during the game, that's really poor. Really poor. I think he's worse than Matty, but I mean, Matty a 2. So I mean, Shelvey's.
Was the effort and desire there, Sam, tonight? Because I don't think he really. I don't think he put the extra effort in today. I really don't. I just thought
no, probably
he
not.
was just coasting, as Paul Nicholson said on the Green and Muller show. I just thought he was coasting today.
Yeah, and a lot of players are, and so is the manager. But they're outnumbered. They're outnumbered in a very outdated formation, and we always looked really susceptible to a counter-attack throughout the whole game. We looked wide open for a counter-attack, and that's what's done us on a couple of occasions because there's not a lot of pace in that centre midfield. There's no pace with Kraft. We just looked wide open for a counter-attack, and look what happened.
Before I know we're going to touch about Bruce a little bit later, and I'll ask this to Liam. Did the actual midfield battle, was the midfield battle even a battle when you look at the team sheet? Because, Liam, it was 2 against 3 most of the night, well, all night, let's be brutally honest.
If it was a battle, it was very quick. I don't think there was any battling, to be fair. I think they just passed them off the park, and they were technically the better players and the positionally were the better players. I think I seen someone saying, well, Matty was looking after Shelvey all the time. Do you know what I mean? It should be the other way around. It should be Shelvey looking after Matty because he's a more experienced player. But I think it's just the same thing over and over again. If Shelvey doesn't want to play, he's not going to put his heart and soul into it, which I don't think he is. So then, does he even want to play for Bruce anymore? Because last season, he was doing stuff for Bruce. Do you know what I mean? But this, what's he actually done to get 1.5 points today?
It's a good question. Go on, Sam, why?
Yes, Sam, tell.
You're asking me to find something positive in a 1.5 out of 10 rating.
Yeah, do it.
He turned up.
Yes.
He
did
breathed,
run a lot though. So
he breathed on the football pitch. He walked around a bit, jogged a bit, did a bit of this, bit of that, tried to pass here and there. He did at one point actually come wide because Kraft and Miggy were both passing it, and Carroll were all on the right-hand side trying to decide which one of the fuckers are going to put in a cross. So then Shelvey come along and decided he would do it, but then I think he overhit that one and it rolled out of play. But hey-ho, yeah, that was worth 0.5.
Spoiler alert, the next player on the list ain't getting a 1.5, Joelinton. And I've got in my notes here, waste of time. Waste of time. What did he do today apart from giving the ball away, running a little bit when he's got the ball at his feet, and then panicking, and then going back to whoever it was, if it was the left back or the left centre back, or lose the ball. Atrocious. When you have Joelinton and Miguel Almiron starting on your wingers, when you've got two forwards up front, you may as well just give up. Give up.
We did.
What did he do today? There was nothing on that football pitch that he did today that I can go, yeah, that's fair enough, brilliant. I'm actually giving him a 0 today. He was that bad.
It's like we were playing with 10 men in the first half, and we weren't terrible in the first half, were we? It was fairly not positive, but he was.
I think it was better. Go on, Tom.
If it was Richie or Murphy playing out on the wing, then we'd have almost had a good half in that first half, but we were just harbouring him and didn't help Lewis one bit. All their attacks were coming down that side. He ain't a striker. He's not a left mid. Well, what the fuck is he?
Liam, why did he get 90 minutes?
Oh.
It's written in his contract, I reckon.
I'm absolutely struggling. If you're trying to keep your job, which Steve Bruce is to a respect, why is he starting him? It was like,
yeah,
it was similar to, it was like McLaren starting Riviere the day we got beat off Bournemouth.
Yeah. People are saying Atsu's better. I would have preferred Atsu, me, or if it was between Atsu and Joelinton.
Yeah.
I think last season people didn't realise Atsu actually got 5 assists in the Premier League.
Yeah. For me, look, we know Atsu's not very good going forward, but he would have done a lot more today.
Yeah.
He would have done a hell of a lot more today. Look, we could go on all night about what Joelinton's offered this football club because we could have so many negative thoughts. He's had 1-2 moments in a Newcastle show where you go, oh, brilliant. And actually one of the best away days I've ever been on was Spurs away last season when we won 1-0. And Joelinton was brilliant that day. But that's about it. That is literally about it.
Just never kicked on, never followed it up, has he?
No. Look, is he out of confidence? Yes. Is he out of form? He's been out of form since last August after that game against Spurs. Let's be honest. There's been nothing from that game where you go, yeah, there's something that we can kind of hold on to. He shouldn't play for Newcastle in the future unless we are down to the bare bones in terms of injuries because he's not giving us anything. Like Sam said, I couldn't have put it back myself. When he's starting the game, we're a man down. We're a man down. And you're giving Arsenal advantage. I can hear that noise in the background as well, because I can tell by your face. I don't know where it's coming from, but anyway. 0.
I think there's one man to blame, though, isn't there? About Joelinton.
Who? Well, Bruce.
Bruce? Yeah. So you're saying he's got lack of confidence, right, from last season? Because he was playing as a lone striker on his Todd, didn't get the service, not a lone striker, and then Bruce hasn't really helped him out this season, and he's only just realised he kind of plays a lone striker. It's like, what planet is he on? Do you know what I mean?
I gave up on it. I've given up on him. I wanted him sold in the summer. I really did. Yeah. I said I'd take 10 million from him. If we get 10 million from him, we'll be lucky to get 10 million now. We really will. Just cut your loss on him. Cut your loss on him. It's ridiculous. 2 up top, Liam, Andy Carroll. Had one shot that I can remember in the second half. But again, I'm going to ask the question, is he good enough to play for Newcastle in the Premier League?
Against the right team. And against the right defenders. I think if you're playing against the Burnley, I wouldn't want him as your only striker on the pitch, but I think against the right teams, he can cause havoc. If your defenders are lightweight, he's going to absolutely destroy them. But if they're quick and nippy, then they're probably going to take the ball off him. I think he does offer stuff that maybe Carroll and Wilson doesn't. He's a presence. And I think the defenders still fear him now, even though he hasn't scored really in the last 5 years or so. So I think if I'm going to rate him, I'm going to have to give him a 3. But I don't think he was feeding on scraps himself.
Sam, what did you make of his performance? He was trying to get into play. He was coming deep, as you mentioned, with the strikers before, but you don't want to see him deep. You want to see him in the box. You want to see him get on the end of crosses, but he put a cross in himself. That's how desperate we were getting.
Yeah, I think 3's harsh. Really harsh, actually. Well, not really harsh. He had to come so deep because Joelinton couldn't hold the ball or progress, or he had to. He had to come deep because we couldn't get the ball out of our own half with the midfield, so he had to. I mean, I've said for weeks and weeks that Sheffield United was the game for Andy Carroll. Why he didn't play and why he got subbed today instead of Joelinton, I don't know. Strange. I like having him around. I think he's a decent option to have, and he has got a performance in him every now and again.
Is he a Premier League striker, Sam? Is he a Premier League striker?
Well, you wouldn't be starting him for 38 games, would you? But
does a job.
Yeah, does a job. Good squad player, not a starter. But again, like Liam said, he can do a job against the right team. And he has got a good record against Arsenal. But yeah, I don't think, considering we were playing 2 up top, it was equally as uninspiring as it has been when we were playing wing backs.
Carroll and Wilson for you, Sam, the strike partner. In my opinion, didn't do enough, and I think he was growing very frustrated with his teammates today. I think there was a few times of him shouting, "Joe, come on, Joe," as he for Joelinton. If you're listening on the Sky Sports Premier League channel, because obviously the other one has got like fake crowd noise. I think he's sick and tired of playing with some of these Newcastle players that he's got at the minute. But do you think he should be doing more, Sam?
Yeah, I don't think he played well. That doesn't hide the fact that I think we all feel very sorry for him. And I hope he's not regretting coming to Newcastle too much, because I fear he will be, especially after we play his other option that he had on Saturday in Aston Villa. No service. Them Arsenal centre-backs. Who sneezed then? Was that your dad, Jonny?
Yeah.
Bless you. But them centre-backs were there to be had, Holding and Louise, and so was Cedric on the right, and we didn't pressure them at all game. And that's poor. I'm going alongside a 3 with Carroll because he just didn't do enough. It's just an attacking performance of just absolute dismay. Absolute dismay. Feel very sorry for him. Needs support. Needs a system to play to his strengths, to get players up the field. He's a good Premier League striker that will get you 10 to 15 goals a season, but he can't do everything. Let's face it. Yeah, 4-4-2 is just not the way to go in this day and age, I'm afraid. But hey ho.
3 out of 10 for Carroll Wilson. Do you think he was better than Andy Carroll? Get your comments in below. Substitutions. The first substitution, Jacob Murphy for Andy Carroll. Jacob Murphy for Andy Carroll. We'll say that again. If you missed that. Jacob Murphy for Andy Carroll. Jacob Murphy then goes on the wing and Joelinton goes up top, obviously because he did so well in the first 65 minutes. Does what he normally does. Jacob Murphy runs with the ball, think he'll do something, and then he lacks that decision making, and we lose the ball. But there was probably an argument for him to start on the wing today because of the options that we had in terms of Almiron and Joelinton, because look, he probably helps Carroll and Wilson a little bit, but on tonight's performance, he played 25 minutes, didn't really make a massive impact. I can't go massively low because it wasn't on long enough, so I'll go 4 and be nice because he didn't play long. It didn't play that long, but I don't know that. I don't think that would have improved his score if he played 70 minutes. But if you play 4-4-2, you need something on that right hand side in particular, because Jacob Murphy seems to be a little bit more strong on that right hand side than a Joelinton, for example. But one of those things. Jeff Hendricks getting non-applicable. He wasn't on long enough for me. People will probably argue that he wasn't great when he came on, but I'm going to give him.
I didn't even know he was on. I didn't even hear his name.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't even realise he was on the pitch.
Well, I knew he was on, but you wouldn't have known he was on. He was just absolute. But the game was gone.
I ended up watching the match in French somehow. The commentary was in French.
Well, it was probably better than Don Goodman anyway. Anderson again, another non-applicable. His first Premier League start. I think this will be a.
I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, so do I.
It's his debut and he's coming on at 3-0 down. Oh, way to go, son. Do you know what I mean? I'll reward you. So get on the pitch. We're 3-0 down. Go and do something. Do you know what I mean? It's like
it'll be a pub quiz question though, Sam, won't it? It'll be who's made in like 10, 15 years, who made their cup appearance and Premier League appearance against the same team. And it'll be Elliot Anderson. Let's just hope that he can do well at Newcastle, because that'll probably give us a bit of positivity if he can do well for the club, because again, a young lad who's trying to be given a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to under this manager, is he? But there you go. Pointless him coming on when he did. The subs are left too late, but that leads us on to the man whose decision it was to make them late substitutions.
Right, let's speak about Bruce. Come on then.
Well, we've only got 10 minutes.
He's lucky.
Saying that, we've said all that needs to be said countless times. The week's gone by. Other than 4-4-2, so outdated and finished. It's as outdated as Steve Bruce is. His management career is nigh on finished. And
did he even start?
Well, yes, it did. 40 years in the game, respect where it's due. Steve Bruce in football or in management?
Yeah. He's got the worst win percentage in the whole of the Premier League. Is that he's going to be his achievement on his gravestone? Like 33% win ratio.
I know. He's got to go, hasn't he? It's just embarrassing. And these post-match comments are delusional.
Just dust yourself down, Sam. Just dust yourself down. We'll go again against Villa on Saturday. It'll be a tough game, but the lads will put in a good performance, or they'll try and put in a good performance, and then we'll dust ourselves down again after that.
I'm trying to do the best I possibly can, as always, but you'll have to ask others about that. That's what he said about his future. You'll have tough moments if you're in the Premier League and in the bottom half. You have to dust yourself down, get that confidence, but just fuck off, honestly.
Yeah, but this is what I'm going to say about it. Miggy and Joelinton on the wing. Miggy and Joelinton on the wing when you've got two up top in Carroll and Wilson that need service. You don't put Miggy and Joelinton on the wing. You don't. You just don't. One attempt on target all game, which was a very tame header from, I think it was actually Carroll and Wilson, which got on the end of a free kick from Newcastle. And then the best chance really was Miggy's shot that went over the crossbar. We didn't really have anything else all game. What else we got? This is again this is a question I'm going to ask you, Liam. Have fans kind of dictated his formation change? Because so many fans had enough with that five at the back against Sheffield United. He's going to do things his own way. But did he do things his own way, or was there so much pressure from the Newcastle fans that he had to change it regardless?
I think his comments after the Sheffield United match were quite interesting, saying I'll do it my way. So it seems like who's been managing the team the past 18 games, really? I mean, if he hasn't been doing it his way, and the past 18 games haven't been his way, today hasn't proved that his tactics are any better, because it just seems like it was. It probably would have been better to sit five at the back of the day and just try and go for a draw.
I am convinced that Newcastle would have gone five at the back today if we didn't lose to Sheffield United. He would have been quite happy playing five at the back, hope for a 0-0 and get out of the Emirates. But because it was so bad against Sheffield United, he thought, I'm going to have to change it. I'm going to have to do something different just to keep the negativity.
So he goes 4-4-2.
Yeah.
I think he's got a problem with hating me, Like he seems to be dropped like dead randomly. Like why would you drop Hayden today?
Why would you start Joelinton today? And why would you drop Isaac Hayden on today's performance? But
it's not Bruce's fault that we signed Joelinton. It's Bruce's fault that we're persisting him. It's just, how is it got to this point with him? It's embarrassing now.
Sam, two quick questions before we decide on. Two quick questions, Sam, before we decide on the score. Steve Bruce says we defended well. Did you defend well on a 3-0 defeat? And was it an improvement on the Sheffield United game?
First half we did. Second half, shambles. Was it an improvement on Sheffield United? First half, yes. Second half, who fucking cares at this point? It's just pathetic. It's just absolutely pathetic. The whole way he goes about it. There's just not an ounce. He's supposed to be a Newcastle fan.
He's not, though?
No, I know he's not. I know he's not, but he claims to be. And there's not an ounce of passion or if he had any self-respect, he would walk and not come out with that regurgitated bollocks that he spouts every week after every game and before every game in his pre-match presses. They're just tedious and delusional, and he's got to go. But how long do you give it? It's 9 games without a win. 9.
Was it not 9 games without a goal as well?
We've scored 2 goals in 9 games. We've scored 2 goals since that West Brom game. 1 against Fulham and 1 against Leicester. And 1 of them was a penalty. Sam, what's your score for Steve Bruce tonight?
Oh, 0.
Liam?
0.
It doesn't matter what I say. I'd have gone 1, but probably 1 more than what we.
1 because he actually changed formation. I mean, the gloves are off, so you go 4-4-2.
What gloves was he wearing? Was he wearing gloves that were made from newspapers or something? Like seriously, what was he wearing? Like it's the pressure's getting to him, and I think it's showing a little bit in post-match press conferences and pre-match press conferences. And Mike Ashley and Lee Charlie are going to have to make a decision very, very soon. Do they just bite the bullet and just say, do you know what? We don't want to spend money, but we're going to probably have to spend money because there's only one way we're going, and that's down 100%. We've got next? Aston Villa, who, depending on how they're COVID-wise, could we nick a point potentially. But you look at the next few games, Villa, Leeds, Everton. 3 difficult games there, lads. I'm struggling where I think we're going to get points from. But
that could be 12 games without a win.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me next Saturday after we play Everton in the early kickoff that we haven't won a game in 12 and we haven't picked any more points. Nope. Who's your first choice of manager, Michael? I'd probably answer that question if it was to happen, because I don't think it's going to happen at the minute, unfortunately. This is where we're going to have to end it. Give us your thoughts in the comments. Please like this video, and if you can also like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, that would be brilliant. And Newcastle Fans TV Extra. We've got the last word with Lee. I think we're all just a bit depressed and deflated because we just don't see a light at the end of the tunnel with this manager at the minute. But we keep on going on. We keep carrying on because we're going to have to. But Lee's with the last word. He's got all the post-match thoughts from the game at the Emirates, where it finished 3-0 to Arsenal, not 2-0 as I said at the start of the game. But yeah, we'll start all over again. We've got Aston Villa on Saturday night, which is going to be another big game. The Steve Bruce derby, which will be interesting to say the least. But yeah, make sure that you're getting all the videos tonight, and yeah, just if you can give us a like and a subscribe, as I've mentioned before, I think that'll probably make up for the fact.
Go on iTunes and search the Greenwood and Mulliner Show on Newcastle.
Come on, I want to go to bed.
And rate 5 stars. There you go. That's your little task to do before Lee starts in 2 minutes. iTunes, Greenwood and Mulliner Show on Newcastle Fans TV. Rate 5 stars and subscribe. Great podcast, isn't it?
It's a very good podcast, and we've got a very special guest coming up, which we'll hopefully get out for you in the next few days. As Liam wants to go to bed, we'll wrap things up. So my thanks to Liam Kerr.
No worries.
Big thanks to Sam Warner.
Thank you. See you at the weekend.
Make sure you press for the last word, and we'll see you all very